Hello, folks. Following up from the weekend video that I made, the question leaving the video was, how are we going to deal with this 4-hour EMA 12 resistance that we've been coming up against? And I'd said that, you know, we were all going into the close on Friday and into after hours, everything was sort of at or below that 4-hour EMA 12. This morning, Qs were gapping up above it, and then it's pretty much been sideways to down all day. I had said I think that the most bullish thing would be to move strong above and then test it and then continue. But it is also fair to sort of oscillate around it a bit before we finally start testing it, assuming that this is the curve of it and this is price action, right? So basically, we're just getting this sideways oscillation, and it's not yet clear which way that's going to break. I will say that the retracement isn't awesome. Like if I look at this chart and I think about, it would be really great to get a daily high or low, then you kind of want the low of today to be higher, so that when it does come and break the low of today to set a daily high or low, it has a lot of room to do it without having to get too close to the bottom of the day before that. And so this isn't ideal in my opinion. However, it's just looking at QQQ right now. I'm looking at, when have we had bottoms that were followed by a down day and then continued up? A daily high or low isn't required, right? It doesn't have to be a daily high or low to keep moving up. For example, we had this bullish day off the bottom. We had a red day the next day that closed within the range of that day, and then we gapped up the next morning, and then held the gap and continued. So that could happen. Like, who knows what's going to happen? I will say that looking at Bitcoin, it had that bullish news on the weekend, and look at it. It's basically retraced the whole move from the news. So the news happened somewhere here. I think the news was something like they're going to have a crypto summit at the White House or something like that. And that was a big move off of that. And now we basically retraced it all today. So if you're using Bitcoin as sort of a bellwether for what's going to happen, then it's not good. I will say that, why did I put my drawings back on here? Here we go. Yeah, I will say that I did try to trade this today. And actually, I didn't trade QQQ. I traded Tesla because Tesla was stronger. Tesla had a bigger gap, started to come in a bit, and then I traded it against these lows. I got long. And then I tried to hedge my long as it moved up and tried to break the high and was unable to get there. But I messed up my hedge, and I ended up losing money on this trade, even though it was just because I messed up the hedge. I got long in the right spot. I stopped out on that long in the right spot. I did not take any profit on that long at all, but I didn't lose any money on the long. However, the hedges I really messed up on the short-term time frames because it was really choppy and confusing. I had essentially hedged here with a stop up here and then got stopped there for a loss on that hedge, and then it came back down to stop me out. So net, I'm red, which is really disappointing because this would have been a wonderful place for that hedge to actually work from, because look how it came down. I don't think that this is super bearish. Yes, this looks like a bear flag from here. We have to see what price action does into the close and overnight. But if you look at this chart on the daily time frame, you can easily imagine that this could end up having bars that form something like this, right? So you could see, even though it was a down day today, it didn't break the lows of prior day. It did have the gap up, came in, and you could see it like opening somewhere in range tomorrow, moving up, then opening higher and moving lower. You could see it doing this sort of a move that ends up rounding maybe higher low and then up. It could absolutely do that. So it's hard to feel super bearish at this point in time. I think looking at this chart, if I was going to try to get into Tesla for a long, thinking that this might be setting the monthly high or low, obviously a daily high or low would be ideal for me because I'm just better at those trades. So, come in tomorrow below the low of today, but above the low of the prior day. and then get long in there somewhere with a stop below that low. Or if we did that move like we saw in the Qs where price actually gapped up overnight, then I'd be, there's lots of plays you can do. If it was gapping up again, I would be doing a level burner against the high of tomorrow. So if it opened up above here, play it against there for continuation. We'll see. It's hard to feel super bullish when so many names are not playing out in a positive way. Everything feels kind of red today. On my screen, it looks like the strongest name today is XLV, so healthcare, whereas QQQ, SMH, XLF, IWM, all at the lows right now here at 11:52 my time. The market will close in just over an hour. VIX is elevated, so not looking awesome. XLV is even coming down right now. It's at 32% of today's range right now. But just quickly, because I said I was let's just really run through the Mag 7 quick. So how did they all turn out? Let's get this in the 30-minute and look at each of these relative to the 4-hour EMA 12. And also, you see this orange line here? That's the 5-day simple moving average. That's another important one. Oh, look, we're getting some fresh lows right now. Anyway, that's another important one, and we're kind of rejecting that. And that's short-term sentiment is the 5-day SMA. So rejecting on that on Apple. Apple was holding above the 4-hour EMA 12, but now it was pinched between the 5-day and the 4-hour, and it's coming down now. Meta tried to move up on the open and was unable to do so. Looks like the 4-hour is now above it again, so we're doing that oscillation, not even close to getting to the lows of prior day. Amazon, I think it was also opening above and then came down below, and actually, it's breaking the lows of prior day, so that's pretty bearish. Not good, not great for Amazon. And then Tesla, I think we just talked about this, but it's going lower again right now. Dealing with this area of balance from yesterday, but currently at the value area low and testing lows, or getting towards those lows and pushing lower potentially right now. Microsoft, or Softy as some people call it, looks like it might be setting a daily lower high today, another daily lower high, but not yet pushing lows of prior day. Google, the other one that was a potential hourly or daily oversold for monthly higher low, it was not strong today at all. It got to the 4-hour EMA 12, pushed up and then failed. So that's a look above and fail, and it's probably going lower. And then last but not least, NVIDIA has been sold from the open. Actually, this was the one trade that I traded well today, where I was shorting it off this balance and made a good trade down to these lows and into the hourly oversold there. But I'm not currently in it now. It's sort of, I think relatively speaking, it's relatively stronger than the QQQ right now, so I sort of got out of that short. Anyway, not a great trading day for me. All in all, red on the day for me, and disappointed that I was once again not able to capitalize on what I understood about the market, where if the 4-hour EMA 12 doesn't hold, it's going to come back down. And this is why these areas are tough. When you're in the middle of range and you're in the middle of balance, where in my mind the 4-hour EMA 12 is balance, then it's harder to get long or short there, because you're not exactly sure, especially when it's going sideways like this. You can't be sure, is it going to just move, like trickle up or trickle down, or what's it going to do? I do much better with extremes, where we shoot up really hard and then I'm shorting into a lower high, or we shoot down really hard and I'm longing into a higher low. Those are my best setups, and probably what I should just limit my trading to completely. Anyway, that's the roundup. We'll see where we go from here, but on a lot of names, the best hope for bulls, I think, is daily higher lows, or something happening overnight in the after hours to push us up further. Maybe some news or something like that, but we will see, because right now it seems like we're continuing to roll over.